Norbert Hödebeck-Stuntebeck, psychologist working since around 30 years in an institution for people with different kinds of handicaps and disabilities, and since 25 years with people with Prader-Willi. And I'm happy that all these people are sitting here, so because these are the people who do the job and the work in the future. And it's good to be in contact with them and involve them in this discussion, because this is their job to do this in the future. Yeah, good. I'm not sure. I think the people here in Germany, they understand these two sides of a medal. Zwei Seiten einer Medaille. They shake their head, but I'm not sure if all people understand what it means, these two sides of a medal. So what I mean is that on one side, it is very helpful and is a very good development over the last 10, 15 or 20 years that we can support people in a very early age and that they develop competences more than we see maybe in the first generation. And the other side of the medal is if they use it for good things or for things they are helpful for them or for the environment. This is one part, but some of them, and this is what we will see at the end of my presentation, is that some use it in their view of the world, which is maybe helpful for them, but not for the system or the family or the group homes where they are living in. And this is what I mean with these two sides of the medal. And can you see so I think it's better in this way that you can see the whole slide. Oh, okay. So the situation of these young and clever, we talk about people which are 16, 18, 20 or 25. The positive things are, and this is what develops over the year, is the early diagnose. So we have the situation that often now here in Europe or in Germany, that people are often diagnosed in the first weeks or in the first month or the first year, and that gave parents or caregivers the chance to do things very early and support them very early. The other thing is the growth hormones, which have positive effects on the development of motoric, but also a positive effect on the cognitive development. So if you can change your position because you are able to do this, then you see things from different parts and you have to integrate these different things in your brain, and this develops your brain earlier. The parents have more and qualified information about PWS. This is what IPWSO did over the last 20 years, or what we do here in our company, to share the information so that people, if they want, they can use it much earlier. And this is what often parents informed us about, that they are happy that they know what the specialities with the children are in the very early years. Using of physical therapy, speech therapy, these are things which start very, very early, and much more early than 20 years ago. And these people have the information about their rights, know more about their rights if they are in school or using social media or internet or something like this. This is what they developed too. And the situation is today that with 10, 15 or 20 years, people with Prader-Willi have today a higher average of competences than the first generation. And I think in many or in all areas, if it is motoric, speech, cognitive things, cognitive flexibility, and all these things. But they still have hyperphagia. And when I go around, I cannot do it now, but I like to do it and go around and ask people here, which are sitting here, if they see people with Prader-Willi and if they see that the hyperphagia is always there, then I think many of them say, no, we cannot see it all the day. Sometimes there is a situation that that we cannot see the hyperphagia or the eating addiction maybe over months. We do not see them. But, and this is the way I try to explain it, these red dot, which you can see, means that maybe in some situations people have 100% of their focus is on nutrition. And this is a situation which I think many of them which are sitting here see this in their group homes, that when people come from home or from situations which are not helpful, that they are very focused on this. But then they will see maybe they get friends, maybe they have a better chance to make a friendship in school. They understand, and they are more stable more and more. So then what we see is that these focusing on nutrition is going back and back, and is overlapped by these positive things. And then there is sometimes the situation that we do not see hyperphagia, but, and this is the other thing, then there could be a call from grandmother, and this is my my explanation often for this. Then there is a telephone call with grandmother, and she said that she have to go in the hospital the next day, and that could make the situation that from one to another day the hyperphagia is very, very intensive there, and someone is going through the group home and running through the cellar and find all the food he never searched in the last months. So what they also have is the egocentrism, or the not completely overcome. And you know, normally it starts to overcome this egocentrism with 6 or 10 years, or in this area, in this age. And we see that people, they can be young and clever, but maybe they are very egocentric too. And the other thing, what they have, these new group of people, they also could have a reduced competence of changing the emotional perspective, and also the reduced competence of recognize feelings by themselves or in the face of the others. And maybe some of you saw this, and I described it in other situations, that we find out that the cognitive change of perspective is nearly perfect, like we can. But on the other hand, this part that you can see that the competence of the emotional change of perspective is very low, or much lower than we have. And this could be the situation of these young and clever people, that they have a deficit in this part. And also these lines show the average of people without handicaps, and this line is the line from people with Prader-Willi, nearly 50 or 60 people. And you see that they have problems in recognizing or seeing if someone is happy, if someone is sad, if someone is angry. And also this could be that these young and clever people visit in this area. And another thing is these striving for dominance. This is also something what is very normal to have these in the age of 10 to 12 or to 14 to 16. And to overcome these strive for dominance, it is necessary to have these, because if you develop an own personality, or if you will develop an own personality, then you have to be against things which are normal for you up to this time. And normally it's being against the things and the structure which parents gave to you. And so to be against these, it's a normal part of the development, and to find out what is your own idea, what is your own way of living. And if you do all the time the things your parents want from you, then you cannot find out your own personality. And therefore it's a normal part of development. And it could be that these young and clever people do not have overcome these strive for dominance, and maybe they have these. And the last thing which I will explain is these low competence to learn by their own or from their own mistakes, and do it again and again with the same negative results. This could happen. This is some of the symptoms which we see by people with Prader-Willi, and this could also be the situation of these young and clever people, that they have a deficit in this area. And so with 10 or 15 or 20 years, they have in the average higher level of competences cognitive competence and all the things I described at the beginning, what is helpful around this early diagnosis, and the social and emotional symptoms of the syndrome. And maybe we see these, many of these young generation, maybe we call them the second generation, being not overweight, being integrated in school and class, involved in decisions in the family in relation to their age, absolutely, or overtaking or have tasks and jobs in the system, in the family, or in the group home, or in the community. And maybe they early learn to reflect their behavior, their negative behavior with parents, with teachers, with caregivers, or overcome more and more the egocentrism, learning jobs, take jobs as adults. This is the vision, or this is what we see as a result of these early diagnosis and all this support we can do. This is what we see often, but on the other hand, we also see in this generation, in this new generation, we also see some of these which having a higher level of cognitive competence, also, as I described before, understand their rights and know about them, but thinking egocentric, being tricky, have the competence of changing the cognitive competence, being tricky to get what they want, have high competence of changing the cognitive perspective and know what parents, teachers do in the next minutes or what are their limits. And this is what we discussed this morning here a little bit, is the main problem is if they have these problems or if there is more and more challenging behavior, the refuse of reflecting about behavior and conflicts. So the idea behind is, if we have the chance to discuss these things with them and to develop new ideas, develop new strategies, then we see and we saw over the years, and this is what Hubert said, over many years, or what here the people in the audience developed, that there is a very, very good development and in being more and more independent and self-controlled. But there is a group of people which do not do this reflection, and they, for example, they run away and they say, you are not allowed to hold me, you are not allowed to reflect with me if I do not want, I can go where I want, or you are not allowed to be in my room if I do not want it, go out. So this could be what parents do, or what we propose to the clients or the people who is probably to do this in a living room or in their room. But if they do not allow us to do this, then the chance to support learning from mistakes, from crisis, is not given. And what we, many of you know these picture. It is, we can have these conflicts, but at the end, here in this area, we need to reflect with them and to discuss these things which happens here, and we discuss the things of prevention to see if they are able to use preventative strategies by their own or by supporting from parents or by caregivers. But this group, which I describe, is not a very high number, but maybe it's 5 or 10% of them. And we have the situation that in our specialized homes, we have around 65 adults here, 15 children. We have group homes, we have supported living, very differentiated support or offers, and support by trained staff or by psychologists, which are supporting these groups. The situation is that we lost in the last years 2 children with 12. One was 12, another one was 13. We have to cancel the contract with them, and we have 4 young adults where we have to say we are not able to support these people. And indeed, one of these young adults which go out of our company he died 6 months later. We have no contact when he leaves our company, but what we hear is that he died 6 months later. And I know from other situations that people with Prader-Willi are living in psychiatric hospitals over months or over more than a year. And this is the question I will bring in this group of competent people and people which have knowledge and maybe have ideas what to do for and with this group of people which are young, clever, but use their competences not always in the way we hope they do.